Hi, today I'm going to demonstrate the steps it takes to process the IPO work order survey. I'm going to show the steps from log on to AIM, generate the data, download the data, prepare the data to upload to Qualtrics survey, wait for the survey to generate a report, download the report, and format the report data in Excel through predefined macro. Step 1. Log on to AIM. Please keep in mind AIM resides within Rutgers network. That means if you're trying to access AIM from outside of Rutgers, you will need to have Rutgers VPN installed and configured properly on your computer. If you do not have the software, please contact the IT help desk and they should have it installed, configured, and show you how to use it. To log on AIM, currently it's using your Rutgers NetID information. Once logged in, click on Work Management on the upper left, and then click on Work Order, and then click on Search. As you can see, I have a predefined search query already created. Same thing for anybody who uses this to generate a work order survey. If you do not have one, please contact the IWMS help and they should be able to have one created for you. Once a template is created, as you can see, the only thing you need to do are two sets of date. One is date created. This indicates the date of work order created within a particular month. And the edit date, which is the date the work order is closed. When pick date for a particular month, I recommend to pick the beginning, first day of the date of the month, and the last day of the month for the range of the date. Now, if those dates falls on weekends or holiday, still pick those dates as the work order is created because work order is allowed to be submitted on any day of the year. In this example, I'm going to use month of May of 2017 as demonstrating purpose. So I'm going to pick May 1st, which falls on a work day, and May 31st, which is also a work day. And for closing date, I'm going to pick a day after each of the beginning and end date previously selected. In this case, May 2nd, which is also a work day, and the end day for the closing day will be May 31st. June 1st, which is also a work day. Now, if the previous end date falls on a weekend, I will pick the next work day, as work order can be only closed on a work day. Once the dates are selected, click on Execute, and make a mental note that you generated about 2838 work orders. And at this point, export this data. Now you can see the system has already created a name for this file. But in order to keep a record of each month, this file needs to be renamed with a proper format so then you can keep track of it each time when you export these. In order to do that, you're going to select this drop down and pick Save As. As I'm working with Madeline, she has a folder that's sharing with us to store all these files. And I would recommend anybody going to be doing this should use her folder to centrally store all the data. I'm going to pick May since I picked May example, I'm going to pick this May form file to store it. And I'm going to save to this test just as previously created, and that this is only a test data, not going to be production, and I'll delete this once this demonstration is done. And do save, and I'll override that. Once the file is saved completely, click on Open. Since CSV file typically link with Excel, it will automatically open this file in an Excel format. Once this is done, On this computer, I have already created a macro to format the data to get it ready for the survey. As I did it by design, I have the file saved into two separate formats. One, it's saved into Excel. It's later used for statistic analysis. And the other file is saved as CSV file. It's ready to upload to Qualtrics. To get to this macro, click on Developer, click on Macro, and the one that's being used is this Work Order Survey WO Survey Auto Selection 2. Click OK to save an Excel copy for statistic analysis. Click OK. And save this back to the same folder that Madeline created. And the one that says statistic analysis for work order, and keep as May as well. For same consistency, I'm going to put test at the end, as this data is only used for testing. And the second copy of this file is being saved as CSV copy. And in the same directory, there's another folder that's using for survey, file used for survey. Again, I'm saved under the main file format and a test at the end, as I'm going to delete this when this demonstration is done. At this point, the files are created. You can take a quick look. It shows you this many work order was downloaded, 2838, matches what we had before. And after the filtering, about 1820 are with email. By that, it means it with a valid email format. Has no indication the email is actually legit active, but at least the email falls in the right format and not something that misses the N sign, the S sign, or with any other word that's not even an email format. It also breaks down to per region and give you the percentage based on how many email come out of each of the region, how many surveys with the right email format come out of each region. Give you a fair good idea of how each area will handle. Any further analysis can be interpreted from these data at a separate time. Once this is done, we can log out of AIM. We're done here. Now, since the data is already created, we're going to go ahead and log into Qualtrics and do the upload. To log on Qualtrics, you can use any browser. I'm using Google Chrome just for demonstration, but you can use any browser. And the login is rutgers.qualtrics.com. Hit enter when you're done. The site will be automatically redirected to Rutgers Central Authentication Services for login, because this service is under contract is only for active employee at Rutgers with active with a valid NetID logins. Once logged in, for me, I'm going to search the work order survey. Anybody else that could be doing it can make a copy of the survey each month. Now, you do not want to start with a previous existing survey. You always want to do a new survey, and the reason is because the survey needs to separate the report from one another. Otherwise, when the reports are combined, you cannot separate them per month, per group, and they make the data analysis much more complex and much more difficult. We just got done with May, and then I made a copy of June, but I haven't used it yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of May, and later I'm going to delete it. And to make a copy, you can simply grab an existing survey, because we do not change the format of the survey, and then do a copy project. And again, in this case, I'm going to put test behind the name. But technically, if I'm doing a production survey, I would change this to the appropriate month to indicate this survey is only meant for that month. And I'm going to keep them in the same folder for easy, organizing purpose. And click on copy. And that's it. So this survey, it's ready to go. You can click in here to take a quick look. Just make sure everything's the way you have lined up. Like I said, all the informations are created within. You do not really change anything from one to another. You can do a preview survey to see the outcome, but every month should be the same, unless it's being redirected otherwise. The next thing you do is go into the contact to upload the work order that you just created. Go into contact. Now, project you can share from one user to another. Contact you cannot. So this contact will reside with whoever is distributing the survey. When you get here, click on creating contact list. For the name, typically call it anything with the identifying purpose to know what this contact is for. You can call it work order survey 2007-05. You can create a different category or a different folder if you need to. I didn't do it for the purpose, but that's an option anyway. Click next. And you can, if you're uploading one from a file, you can just click browse. If you're adding one manually, you can do from the add manually here. So we're going to click on browse. I'm going to go to the file that was previously created as a file used for survey, and this is the file that was created before. Click on open, and you can scroll down to take a quick look at some of the sample just to make sure all the data is lined up with the field that's expected, and click on add contacts. And wait until this upload says 100%. There you go. So that's done. Now it gives you an error message showing the ones with the improper email format. For example, here there's a space in between the email. Now the reason this wasn't captured in Excel, because Excel is only looking at some basic characteristic of the email format. As far as space, it doesn't catch that, it passes on it. And here it's missing the .edu. Here's another space that shouldn't have been there. But these were done by the people at the call center or by the user themselves possibly. It's an error message. It's an error that can only be corrected through administrative policy. And here we're not going to worry about it. So however many is being missed, we do not have to go in and correct them. So we can close and ignore these error messages. And now when you go down to the bottom, you can see the server didn't show up here just yet, but you can do an account refresh to see the contact showing up. There you go. This is the one that was just uploaded. About 1810 work order is being uploaded in here. So at this point, when you're ready for distribution, you go back to projects, and you already, by default, you're already in the project you were in before. You can click on distribution, click on compose email, and for this contact, select on contact and pick the one that you just created, and say select entire contact list, because you're not aiming for any particular user. You want to email to the entire list, and it tells you how many contacts are in that list. For these, you're going to reformat this based on a pre-designed listing. The informations are here. If you look at this survey list, there's an email template distribution here where you can see the information that should be put in here. I copied them out for easy update. You can just go in and upload these information back right into it, and that's being replaced with this information. You can schedule this to any day. Let's say you want to do it next Tuesday at 11 o'clock, or not in the morning, nothing in particular. You can say, all right, we're going to set the next Tuesday, and give a time. Say I want to do it 11 o'clock in the morning. If you care about being particular minute, you can obviously pick whatever you need. And then once that's done, this is going to be scheduled at that time. When time comes, the survey will automatically get signed out, that you don't have to do anything at that point. And for subjects, you're going to type something, use a fixed text to type something from the other document, which is, this is the survey, and this is the front name. And load message, since I already have a message created before, I'm just going to reuse that one. And if you don't have one, you can type one here and then have a choice to save them as a template, so every time you're going to keep on using them. One trick, this is in response to the latest change from the Qualtrics survey, is that they give you a link for you to opt out of the survey. Now, we do not want to offer that option to users, because if they opt out of the survey, it's kind of defeat the purpose of the survey, because then why are we sending you the survey? But on the flip side, if they do opt out, they only opt out for this one survey. It means next month, if they get this survey again, they will still receive the link and then can still answer that. So at this point, what we decided to do is go ahead and hide that link from the user by changing the text color to white, so it blends into the background. And the reason you cannot remove that is if you do remove that, see there's no opt-out link, this will avoid the survey to get sent out. So at this point, we have to go ahead and add that link back in there. And to turn that into the other color, what we're going to do is do a white color here. So in this survey, that will kind of get hide into the background. So when this is done, you can go ahead and click on schedule. As you can see, this survey is being scheduled for next Tuesday at 11:31 a.m. Once this is done, all you have to do at this point is to wait for the survey to get sent out. Typically, we give about a month for the user to finish, and by the beginning of the following month, we'll go ahead and start collecting the data. Meanwhile, we'll just let the survey be answered by the user in any manner as they see fit. Now I'm going to move on to the next step, is to collect a report. So at this point, I'm going to pick a different survey, and I'm going to make the assumption the survey is already being answered. So I'm going to move on to a survey that was already done. Again, I'm going to use May survey as the one because we just completed May survey. When you get done, when you decide to stop the survey and start collecting the data and then analyze it, you log back into Qualtrics, you go to the survey that you decide to work with. In this case, we're going to pick this one. And you're going to click on data analysis. And from here, you're going to click on export and import and do export data. And click on download data table. By default, it's set to a CSV file. Use choice text, download all fields. You can just go ahead and click on download. And save this back to Matlin's folder where it says survey result reporting. This is well, right now it's for June because it's the day I'm doing it, but you can rename this back to May. Um, and click Save. And that data is saved here. You can close this window and log out Qualtrics because you're already done what you need to do within Qualtrics. You can click on this file directly. It will open in Excel because it's a CSV file. By default, typically it's open in Excel. Again, you don't have to change anything in this survey as right now in the report, and instead use the pre-created macro to generate a report. And the macro name is called WO Survey Report, Work Order Survey Report. Click on that and click Run. It takes about a few seconds because the amount of data process has to get through. When it's done, the entire file is put into the proper format the survey is expected. And at this point, you can go ahead and save this file. Again, back to Matlin's folder where it says Survey Result Reporting. You can choose to overwrite that. You can save it into an Excel file and choose to overwrite that one. I mean, not overwrite, but choose to amend it to a file name with for May. Now I'm not sure why the result come out 0. It seems like there's not enough response for the 0 report. But if you would have picked a different one just to show you what report is showing up, you can certainly see how that's all being done from previous month. And this is a typical report that's being done, and all the data being calculated, and then charts are being created. So at this point, this completes the process for this work order survey steps. If any question, definitely reach out to IWMS Help, and we'll be happy to assist in any way we can. Thank you very much, and have a good day.